Left-hand side, our red Zerg. Obviously, teammates here. Both of them going to be lining up to play in the World Team League in just a little bit. I wonder if World Team League is going to be played from replays, or if these guys are going to have a plan for what they do, if World Team League and this overlaps. Bottom left-hand side, it is Dark from Dragon Kaizi Gaming. And in the top right, our blue Protoss player is herO. Again, teammates, so same team. And a pylon scout from herO across the map early to try and deny the initial hatchery from coming down. Not really anything surprising about that, just pretty much the norm, pretty much the expected here as we get this PvZ underway. Across the map we go, probe into the natural, drone moves out onto the map. A little bit of a patrol. And just going to move from the natural to the main base. Obviously hatchery goes on to the third location, so very expected move from Dog. That's what the drone was moving out for. You see the probe, you're not going to get the natural, so you just go straight to the third location instead. And away you go. Two more drones coming up, the hatchery again coming down. There is the extractor popping off onto the side here as well. From Dog's just going to bring the extractor up. Can hatch, gas, and pool all on the way out for the moment. Extra drones still being brought into play. And yeah, pretty chill start, right? Not really anything going on, not really a lot to shout about, just a little bit of setup. Let's get that pool going in the back. Couple queens, couple lings. Probe's going to move out from the main. We do have our Nexus and our Cyber Call coming through as well. It's just bringing all of this online at the moment. As the Overlord continues through the top, obviously just scouting. And there is our first tech structure to give us a little bit of an idea of where we're going. Is a Stargate. So Stargate to begin with. Probably coming back home. Obviously, with the Stargate opening, we're just expecting a bunch of oracles. Usually, 3 oracles, very good at just controlling the game, keeping the Zerg honest, making sure they're defending, and giving you a good chance to kind of get a boosted head start and everything. So, just kind of expecting that to be the case here, expecting that to be the plan. You have our single adept just going to chip away at the hatch for a couple of moments. Nothing too amazing. Just the normal things again. Obviously, these adepts early usually try and get a drone or two. Shouldn't be able to get too much, but kind of moving in and out. Queen coming over, and that adept getting chased away. Stargate still chrono boosting out that oracle as we have the adept making its way back to the upper side. Ling speed about to kick in as well, so bringing that ling speed up here. We do have our oracle going to make its way down to the bottom left. Third nexus. Going down here from herO. And again, just one oracle already out to the front. And I pull back a little bit. A couple OVs still coming through. Queen about halfway done also. We do get our lings coming over and going to knock out that pylon. Twilight Council, Forge coming up, Oracle, Warp Gate, will that continue to produce here as well from heroes, just getting all of this up and running, this Oracle pops. There's going to be 2 Oracles now together going across to the bottom left-hand side of the map, so we continue in that direction. Well, one of them stays here to defend the third, the other one is poking across, but is not immediately going to find too much success, so it doesn't go very well or very far for you. Oracle drops in that little revelation as well, so just stopping by to get a little bit more done. Back around the center, Overlord keeping an eye on this. The Oracle just going to turn back around, they'll grab the creep tumor once more. And again, Robo Facility, Nexus, couple extra gates, all of that producing here from herO as our probes continue through. And knock down a couple of creep tumors on the bottom side. Ling just cruising around. Still had the Oracle poking. We only ever had 2 Oracles, not the 3 I initially mentioned. Overall, just a very low unit count game, right? 2 Oracles, you've got yourself the Charge and +1 starting up right now. The Rotron coming down from Dark, the Lair building, a few extra Zerglings on the way as well. I'm just going to be seeing this Oracle flying by in toward the main base. A couple Queens get onto that Oracle very quickly. Drones charge, +1, Archon. I mean, again, just a lot of setting up. I mean, honestly, again, just not much going on. I guess you can talk about the fact it's a charge follow-up instead of that blink, which has dominated PvZ as of late. I mean, charge gives you some aggressive timings as well, but it doesn't give you that kind of consistent kind of pushing and, you know, forever attacking kind of move that it feels like blink gives a lot of the time, so it's definitely something of a factor. Feelings build back up to the top. Hydra Den coming up. Extra drones on the way out, +1 missiles coming through. Robo Bay is still producing the extra gates as well. Being brought on in here, our Mortal will start up from the Robo facility, so just a little bit of extra defense being brought in. Mortal really buffers up this army, and meanwhile, Dog just going to go to a Hydra Den. I mean, that's where the Disruptors or Colossi, whatever we build out of this Robo Bay, is going to become a huge factor. Because Hydra is obviously very powerful at the right timings. But against splash damage, they can absolutely melt. I mean, honestly, in this case, I wouldn't mind just getting a couple Disruptors out. Zone those Hydras out in a big way during the fights, and then you can have a very successful time from there. And we are going to open up with the Disruptors this time around. The Oracles escape up that right side. Well, we do have Roaches and Hydras still producing missiles, Groove Spines, Roach Speed. All these upgrades still coming in from Dark as well. Again, that Fleet Beacon on the go. A Stargate also coming up. Ling's run around and just going to get a wrap on a few Zealots that are warping in as well. Those Zealots begin to drop Super Battery to heal them up a little bit, though. And both those Stasis Wards down. Still seeing the Fleet Beacon coming through. Another Stargate also coming out here. Roach Hydra Ling just going to knock our way through the rocks and again open up this access point Dark and shove his way across the map and well, potentially run up this base into that mineral line. Dark is more or less maxed, and generally when you're maxed as Zerg, you want to start fighting, you want to make sure the Protoss has as little tech as possible, so it'll start being our plan as our Lings around the left-hand side getting set. We do knock down this set of rocks as well. We move up, a couple of Lings getting caught in a Stasis Ward. Everything moves in on the left-hand side as well. Roach firing, and I mean, with the split of this, and Dark going in multiple directions, making it harder for herO. The problem is he's also got a lot of units that just aren't really hitting anything meaningful right now, and that kind of mix-up is costing you slightly, to say the least. We do have the couple extra Zealots just getting warped in there, and the Lings continue by, just getting rid of a couple more Zealots. The Disruptor's being chased away too. There's a Disruptor shot coming out, hitting a Hydralisk. Now our Lings still moving forward. The Archon standing there, pushing up against those Zerglings. Hydras continue through. Pylons, cannons, taking some extra damage as well. A couple Oracles flying overhead. Going to get nuked a little bit. Our Zealots continue forward. Hydras taking shots. Roach Hydra pushes up the left-hand side. Disruptor shot here to force the Hydras back. And now we've got the rest of the Roach Hydra still moving through. Immortals and Archon coming in there to protect. Just too many units just kind of wandering forward, and eventually Dark is working his way through this. Again, initially didn't feel like he was really doing much, but even the pressure on herO definitely feels as though herO's breaking down a bit, and herO's just, you know, got so much money he's not spent. 1.5k resources on either side. He's got 2 Stargates, and he's going to start building carriers. Well, that might just be a little bit too late, and honestly, with Hydras already out, you can, you know, don't get me wrong, Hydras are not the answer to carriers. But initially, you can use Hydras to kind of deal with a lower number of you can use Hydras to deal with a lower number of carriers. And I imagine that is exactly what would happen in this case. If you know, a couple of these carriers did come out, the Dark just has enough Hydras to kind of work through those without issue. The Interceptor count's never going to stay high. You can see the Disruptor count dropping down as well, and that means Dark has too much flooding through. and takes his first map of herO in a couple of series time. It's been very herO dominated. Is WTL live or what the plan is? Anyways, bottom right hand corner, now blue Zerg player. This from Dragon Kaisi Gaming is Dark. And he's up by a game. In the top left, our red Protoss, also from Dragon Kaisi Gaming, herO. Game 2 of our best of 3 herO to try and bounce back here down a map. Looking to get back into it. Yo, Tobacco S, sorry, I nearly missed this. 11-month resub on the Prime. I did not notice that come through at all. Thank you so much for the 11-month resub. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. You rock. Thanks for supporting the stream today. As that probe comes down, a couple of drones on the way up. Hatchery on the third location again. Very similar setup to what we saw in game number 1, so no surprise about that. And yeah, just kind of herO setup. I feel like, you know, herO did nothing, right? Like, when you get charged, I at least think there's going to be a prism on the map with zealots in and setting them up in different places. We just had none of that all game long. Just felt like herO's very inactive with an army that usually is initially somewhat timing focused and then has options to kind of stay active on the map as well. So yeah, it was kind of a weird game from herO, like a weird style to play. I mean, he was obviously looking to get to carriers, but I mean, were you not expecting Dark to attack? Because those carriers were a long way off, and that was... You know, he started them when he was already under attack as well, so were we just expecting Dark to sit there and not do anything? Like I say, the entire game was very strange in that regard. Very interesting. Sniper core coming up. Nexus still coming through, just about halfway done at the moment. Couple more queens and a few zerglings being built. And just getting another queen coming up on the bottom right hand side. Yeah, queen slings all coming out here. Just getting our drones down to the low ground as we see the Stargate already starting. The Nexus coming through, the probe and the Adept continues to build for the moment. Few moments of chill as a couple of lings will come across and chase our probie down. Obviously Stargate opening again. It would be kind of wild to see anything not Stargate. You can Twilight. That's not a bad map to go Glaives on, actually. As the Dead pop ensuing, the Warp Gate still popping out. We see the Oracle Warp Gate again also. Still just being brought into play, and our queen finishing up on the third base in the next few moments. Ling speed coming up to completing 2 as a couple of adepts going to send it around the left-hand side of the map. So around the corner they go, around that bottom side they head. And still getting that Ling speed up and running. And a Classic, 2-1 against Solo. So Classic into the grand finals today, having a good run. It's cool to see Classic keeping such a cool level. I feel as though Classic's kind of like hit a good level and is just kind of keeping it there for a while. It's cool to see him, man. Very dangerous player, very potent, very possible for him to take down anyone. 3, 4 drones gonna go down, so 4 or 5 workers getting picked up at the moment here. You have our Oracle coming back in, 6 drones now going down. The Queens come back across, Oracle gets shoved away. Back to the northern side, and again the Warp Gate about to finish on the side of herO's. Again, that Warp Gate up, our Lings will run in. The Oracle gets there, pushing back a couple of those Lings once again. Straight back to the top. Couple queens coming through. Oracle's getting shoved around. Another Adept will warp in. Battery into the mineral line. You have our Oracles still cruising around. 3 Spore Crawlers coming up. 8 Lings. Our queens are here to push some damage onto the Oracle as well. Oracle taking a lot of hits. Gets to the south. Gets away for the moment. "42 probes to 37 drones. Our current situation, 44 probes. And good work again, obviously, and Dark is working on droning, making sure he's getting as much as possible. Again, just an early game PvZ where, you know, You have a similar setup, but this time just so much more done. It's also that extra Oracle too, so you can still stay active now with one more Oracle. You send one back home, the hurt one, and the other two can stay active looking for more damage. And that's really going to add into 2-3 more drone kills. And Dark just struggling a lot more. So already herO just seen much more success in this early game than he saw in game number 1. And into a Blink follow-up as well, so completely different. So yeah, okay, it's a Stargate, and that's pretty much all the similarities, I guess, really. And now we just kind of speed run into, like I say, just the complete opposite of what was happening before this. Stalker's pinging away at the Overlord. Ling's showing up. Stalkers have to respect that and take a step back for a couple of moments. Here still our Oracles flying around this bottom side, and we do have Queens in position to push the Oracles away. Revelation dropping down. Our drone's getting tagged. Ling's got to wrap around, and those Adepts and Stalkers will go down on the other side. So Dark getting a nice catch. Obviously, at some point soon, Dark has to get that Roach run online, and Roach is going because he needs a proper defense against these Stalkers. You know, and while Lings can do a good amount against Stalkers, you need something a bit sturdy behind the Lings as well to keep on dishing out damage. There's a point at which the Stalkers can... I mean, Lings in general are good against the Stalkers, right? But there's a point where it feels like, especially early, it's hard to get enough Lings up to keep the Stalkers back with how quickly the Stalkers continue through. The Revelation goes down. We do see a hatchery being tagged. A Robo Bay, Robo Facility, couple extra gates, and the Prism all coming up. +1 attack and Blink. About to finish here, and the +2 attack will start also from herO. As Oracles come diving in, Oracles will, well, be looking for potentially the Queen. They probably could have had that if they wanted it. Behind this Robo Bay, this time I was going to say Colossi. I was going to Colossi before I mentioned the Robo Bay. Colossi going to be the choice, and I think that makes sense alongside the Blink Stalkers. And just a more stable scenario here as well, where you don't see Dark immediately ready to push. In fact, Dark building an infestation pit, looking for perhaps a bit of a longer game on his side too. Could also be quite interesting. Oracle's just hanging out, going to drop a stasis ward down, and that will force the few drones to just back it up a little bit also, so they just get out of there. A couple Queens coming in, Oracle gets pushed back in the main, and we have 11 Swarm Hosts, by the way, on the way out. So 11 Swarm Hosts, 13. That's something very different here out of Dark. I was actually not really thinking about the Swarm Host. I was like, okay, you know, infestation pits, just getting ourselves teched. I guess I didn't stop to ask what that tech's actually going to be. And Swarm Host is a fun one. You know, one that really can be, you know, shows a wide range of effect. And, you know, we'll see how the Protoss deals with it. At the end of the day, a lot of the time, Swarm Hosts really succeed based on whether the Protoss can handle that pressure or not. Ravages, Lings, Roaches continue up to the top side. Our Stalks continue to escape away, and our Lings would love to get a wrap around there to clean those out. Stalker's getting a couple of Blinks off. We've got the Locust coming in from the bottom side, but with Colossi, you can actually laser down the Locust pretty decently. And that's kind of going to be our starting point, where these Locusts, A, kind of coming in a few at a time. That's not exactly pretty. And then B, having the Colossi ready already is amazing. And now herO just breaks down the rocks. So he has a bit more chase potential. I wonder if he even wants to go across the map, having dealt with this first wave so easily. It's actually very possible that he can just go across the other side and see success here. Dark turns onto these Stalkers as they blinked, but, I mean, there's no backup because the Swarm Hosts are on cooldown. He's going to need these Swarm Host Locusts to help him fight this. Ling Roach alone ain't going to do it. And you're waiting and waiting for the Swarm Hosts right now. We're ticking down until they're available. Dark trying to open up another set of rocks, so he has more of a surround available too. The Swarm Hosts are ready. It's going to be time to go. Everything from Dark is going to run into this. As you can see, the pullback. Oh my god, the stasis wards are disgustingly good. And of course, he's just kiting back away from the Locust too. And this time around, herO, as we actually do get rid of one of the Colossi. I was going to say though, this time around, herO will be able to just push into Dark space immediately because he's right on top of it from the very start. Needs to be a little careful because these units are going to pop out of stasis and could maybe jump straight onto the Colossi. Is that an issue? Oh, no, not really. The Lings melt. They kind of got one Colossus low. The Roaches didn't really get to do anything. And now we've got this, well, very convincing just continued push from herO. Just knew exactly what he wanted to do against the Swarm Hosts. Knew exactly how he was going to approach this. As the Locusts pop up, we're just going to see them continue to chase through. Stalker's being taken down. Colossi will be firing. GG says Dark. And herO will take us to Game 3 of this series today. We're going to see all 3 map skills. A little bit more compact. Definitely one we could see something a little bit funkier happen on. Maybe even time to jump into the Twilight Council Glaives opening from herO. Just move away from the Stargate. Could be a possibility for him. Just got to be careful because obviously the shortness of the map also allows the Zerg to counterattack against those Adepts super quickly as well. Very quickly, guys, the start of our game. Just want to say hello from a special guest. You guys probably know who it is already, don't you? Oh, she's gone. I literally turned the camera on, and yeah, she was gone. Ellie, you saw her tail walking away. Well, that was Ellie, ladies and gentlemen. In the bottom right side of this, blue Zerg is Dark. And the top left is going to be our red Protoss player, herO. Swarmho's not good against us. I think they can be, but into Colossi is always going to be rough for them. And I mean, this was like worst Swarmho's I've seen in a while because they just did nothing at first, right? Like, they did absolutely nothing to begin with. It was pretty rough, to say the least. And Probe wandering around on the other side of the map, getting nibbled at by a drone. Hatch did get onto location this time from Dark, by the way, so difference from the previous games, getting that position set up. Nice to be able to grab that. Hatchery still coming up, spawn pool still coming in. And our drone continues to chase the probie around the base. It's just going to be our entertainment for these early stages, guys. Chase the probe. Chase the probe. Probes are annoying, man. This early game, honestly, I hate probes. I don't think there's anything worse than a probe showing up in your base. I mean, I'm a Terran raid, and I have to deal with them stopping my buildings, but I can appreciate the Zergs also getting absolutely peed off at the fact that there's probes that are just, like, here constantly, stopping them from mining and, you know, forcing their workers to You know, you work so hard to stack your workers and to be a good StarCraft player, only for this probe to be like, I'm just gonna ruin everything. Ay. Alright, probably gonna get chased down now by the Lings. Get what it deserves. Kill it, Lings. Kill it! For all non-Protoss players in the world, get your revenge. No, you got to step away, and that's gonna be Proby surviving, especially with the Adept about to show up. Turns out Dark is very aware of the timings of things, so that probe just getting out of there had a little bit of regen, which is what allowed it to survive on, like, very, you know, much so 1 HP or so. Then comes over, Adept is going to shade into the natural. The Zerglings will come over, try and chase the Adept a little. Obviously, link speed is producing here from Dark, getting that up. Our hatchery, number 3, still on the way as well. That Adept is really having a bit of a loop around, trying to see exactly what's going on. Another gateway coming up. Bulkgate's still coming through. Oracle is going to begin to move out down to the bottom right side of the map now. Things come over, Adept turns around. We have our hatchery about to finish, and just seeing our Nexus dropping onto third base. Get that started up as well as our Oracle is about to complete. Warp Gate is about to be done. That Zergling is just going to go straight onto this Nexus. Adept is going to get surrounded from both sides. The Queens come over. The Oracle gets pushed back. Let's continue to fight. Adept is going to push a couple of them away. 2 more Adepts coming through and 2 more probes in production as well. Oracle's staying back at home defending the Nexus. We're about to see our 3rd one. That should be a chance for Oracles to go onto the map though and get a little bit active again. We killed 9 Lings this game, but not a single drone has dropped. One Oracle over here that has pretty low energy. It's not going to do much. Going to pull that one back pretty quick, and obviously, like I say, the other 2 are arriving, so maybe that will be our sign to get something fancier done as herO. On charge game 1. Obviously, game 2, he did go the triple Oracle, and that's when he went Blink. See if he wants to do the same again here now, as he gets 3 drones on the natural expansion, pulls back out of there. Bit of damage taken on 1 Oracle, don't lose it. Doesn't hit the right Oracle with that Queen, unfortunately, Doc. Not that that 1 kill would have done enough. Excuse me. Ling's coming over, going to surround these Adepts. As the Adepts not going to find much at all then. Actually going to go for a cancel on the 4th hatch though, and that is a nice catch. I mean, there's something you're going to get. 4th hatchery is good to slow down. These Lings just gave themselves up. You're like, hey, do you want some icing on top of that 4th hatchery? Here you go, have some Zergling icing. Beautiful. Love to see that as herO. Some few extra kills for free. Not the biggest of deals, but, you know, just worth keeping units alive. It is charge again, and also a 4th Oracle, so as Dark is very late to Roach Run. I mean, Dark might just die if herO made like a bunch of Zealots right now and just went with Oracle Zealots. 4 gates. Honestly, if herO just made like 2 Warpins of Zealots and went with like a Zealot Oracle, I actually think Dark dies. His Roach Run is not here on time. We're going as well. He's moving across the map. herO realizes he's got a timing here. He recognizes he's got a chance. Love the counterattack from Dark. We'll force a Warp in over here. Not that we could Warp in on the other side, but this Warp in will have to continue to deal with the Lings. Or at least be slowed a little bit. Now we're going to see these units continue to cross, and herO will be a little bit late to get back with these Lings, of course, and he's bringing them back now. Queen's trying to get in position to help defend against this too. They're not going to really be able to find the chance, and once again, our hatchery is just going to be denied for now. It's coming through. There's a lot of Oracles in the sky, like I said before. They're going to cause chaos, especially over here. There's a lot of drones up for grabs. There's no anti-air. It's really just a question of can the Oracles out DPS the Queens, and we're going to try it right now. We damage the most highest energy ones so we can remove as many transfusions as possible. The Oracles will get rid of every single Queen, and quite frankly, herO just has way too much. And that is going to be herO taking this game down as Zealots continue to charge through. Lings continue to drop. More Zealots continue to charge down, and this does seem as though we're going to have ourselves a game number 3 going the way of herO. Just too much control for him right now, too much chaos. Dark is not recovering from. herO just warping in 4 Zealots at a time back at home and walking them across the map. 3rd hatchery of Dark will die. And he did get the 4th hatch up, so that's worth noting. He has that over there, but as he starts to move into Roaches and get Roaches up in better numbers to deal with these Zealots, we're already on our way to Stalkers, and we obviously also have the Oracles to help out as well defensively if we need them. So I do feel like it should be fairly fine. Blink coming out, just going to see our +1 attack coming in on the Forge, our Nexus dropping on the left-hand side, and Oracles will boost on down to the south, where they're going to come in and what they want to do. Going to activate maybe a Queen here, take that down. So we're going to be able to get 2 Queens straight away, so that's a really nice catch. 3 Queens go down. Going to dive in for 4. Blink coming up, Stalkers coming in, Templar Archive still building. We do have a Hydralisk Den finishing, Roach Speed and +1 missiles also coming out. And again, the Queen gets here to push the Oracles back around to the sides. Just keeping those Oracles at bay, but here comes the larger Protoss army. Dark does not have the numbers to deal with this. Previous damage taken was through the roof in comparison and to what you can take. And, well, herO doesn't commit. I really felt like he could have done. Hydras are popping up. Even Hydras are a little bit flimsy, right? If the Ling line does fall, then the Hydras will be kind of next on the docket. But that said, obviously the Oracles will be dissuaded by the Hydras. I just feel like we've had enough kind of, you know, gateway army to kind of deal with Hydras anyway now. My Templar's coming up. Going to be Archons for the moment. Eventually you do need Splash once it gets to a certain amount of Hydras. But like I said, I just don't think it needs to get there. If herO just goes, but he doesn't like what he's seeing. He doesn't feel like he's got enough. He isn't feeling comfortable about it. So he's going to stay back. And for the moment, the Roaches and the Hydras just keep pushing the Zealots and the Stalkers away. Prism still hanging out on the top side. Our Oracles around the right. Zealot, Arc on Stalker comes over here as we will push our way through. The Lings coming over to chase those couple of Zealots away immediately, and the Roach is getting some shots off. Hydras will be setting up too, and our Queens just hanging out on this base. Oh, nice catch on the Prism. That's going to give Dark a fighting chance, right? I mean, more Hydras coming up. herO investing a lot into cannons, now disruptors, +1 air weapons. So, you know, into the future in base and defense, he's not going to, you know, give this game up easily. Obviously, you know, herO, he's not like he's just like, oh, Dark, come right back into it. He still has a 20 worker lead and everything. He just feels much more comfortable playing this out in a longer situation and, like, you know, trying to wrap this up right here and now. So, yeah, herO's going to aim for exactly that, as we do have our Roach Hydra moving back around the right side. Trying to see what we can do. You know, still kind of moving around a little bit, trying to see what we can get up to. Roaches and the Hydra still moving over, and just seeing our unit's going to start working down on the set of rocks, so looking to open that up and get on through here. Units of Dark go around the other side of the map, away they go. A little bit of a journey. Roach Hydra trying to make its way around the right. Dark's max, obviously, hero's got so much tech in play. And the knock-on effect is going to be that once Carrier's out, you know, Dark's not going to have anything to really fight against Carriers. He really is going to have a problem there. There's almost no doubt about it. Absolutely worried for that happening as Oracle's turned back around through the upper side, heading across to the far right. Stalkers and Disruptors pushing through. A couple of Roaches taking shots. Hydras, one of them already getting blasted. Roaches taking damage as well. See now Infestation Pit coming up here from Dark. That's just going to finish now as well. Just getting that completed as Stalkers and the Observer coming around this top side. And as Zealots continue down the left also. And I just shoot through and finish off those Zealots, so picking away at that and seeing our Stalkers still making their way into the center. An army of Dark around the right side here. Gonna go through, a couple of disruptor shots flying. Hydra's getting hit big time. As the Roach Hydra continues up, we're just gonna get surrounded on these first few disruptors. I mean, to be fair, Dark's making the most of this potential push forward. There are carriers from herO. Can our Hydras fight the carriers? That's what it's gonna come down to. As the first few Roaches need to set off that Stasis Ward, he does split one Roach away. I was going to say that when one Roach died on the top, I was like, uh-oh, now everything might run into it, but no. We managed to minimize the issue of that. We managed to stop that from being too much of a problem. I'm just still gathering, just seeing our cannon setting up. A few more of these Oracles getting set as well into the center. Oracle, Stalkers back on the right side. Infestors, Vipers, Hydras all coming up as well. And just seeing our +3 missiles, our Carapace upgrade, all of that being pushed on through. That's all I'll be now from herO is. I mean, we get Lurkers from Dark, but I just don't know what the Lurkers really add to this when you consider the fact that herO has so many carriers in play. I really feel like that's not going to do enough, honestly. Sliders all coming down, getting in position. We just see our couple of Interceptors being shoved back. Our Revelation going down. Spores taking a little bit of a hit as our Archons push through. Disruptor shots fire. We go bang, bang, bang on the first few Lurkers. We do have some Vipers We have dug a couple of carriers in. Fantastic. I mean, that's how you're going to win this if there is a way. Slowly picking through those carriers and not having to fight everything all at once. If you can escape that, then I'd say a chance should be there to kind of do something. Thing is, Dark's only, you know, a couple bad disruptor shots away from losing absolutely everything as well, which definitely also is probably going to be an issue for him, no? So, but I feel like that's going to be a problem as well. Stalker's down the right side, a big attack coming, more stasis towards setting up. Again, I like the lurkers, I just don't know what we do in the end once we get past the lurker point of this, right? You know, that's the issue to me, is that we're going to end up on these... you know, lurkers are good, lurkers are a good improvement, do not get me wrong. I just really feel as though lurkers are not necessarily going to be enough against these carriers. I mean, lurkers do not protect you against carriers, right? So... yeah. Not immediately convinced by this army of Dark and it being, you know, enough. Although Dark is very good at kind of scrapping out fights that don't necessarily make a lot of sense, don't necessarily look good for him on the outset. So that's one thing I guess we can look at here, that Dark is... you know, if there's anyone that can win a situation like this, I would kind of put Dark as like one of the very few players. Like when the army just doesn't quite make sense, but you've got a few of those spellcasters. You know, Dark, herO. Those are the kind of guys I could expect to maybe do something with this as our Oracle gets abducted in. So just again, chipping through this slowly but surely, step by step, making some progress. Couple of them engines getting knocked down as we do have our oracles coming back over, dropping another revelation. Just again keeping track of things here. It doesn't want to go too quickly. Remember that this game will sprout from a situation where, maybe not for sure, but I thought herO could have moved in. I thought herO could have gone when Dark had less army supply. herO had an overwhelming amount of gateway units. I really felt like this game could have been over at a very different point. Excuse me, sorry, I had to mute the cough. As you see, our interceptors flying back to the carriers. Obviously, you see herO is also kind of producing a bit of, you know, it is getting a bit of bang up. I was going to say, this was cute. The Overseers ran forward. Is like, is that a mistake? But no, he's baiting the interceptors onto Overseers and then dragging the interceptors into the range of everything else. It's actually pretty cool, right? Big fan of that. A cute little move. You know, Overseers aren't cheap, but... obviously, getting rid of the interceptors is step one of being able to deal with this army, and if you can take out the interceptors, then brilliant. And he didn't lose many Overseers either, so pretty sure that's what he was trying to achieve there, as we do have our Tempests continue to produce, 3 of them popping out. Tectonic Destabilizers on the way in, so we're going to have them Tempests so much better against the ground than they usually would be. Stalker's pinging away an Overlord, dealing some good damage to that. The army of herO comes around the left-hand side. Stalker's Burrow up, Revelation goes down, Spores getting caught in that as well, just so you know. This one. Flyer attacking Carapace on the way as Dark looks for some air units later on. Stalker's kind of given up. I'm just going to replace those with high attack units as well, so I wouldn't say that was too necessarily surprising. Give me 1 sec, guys. I'm just going to tap out and quickly press the snooze button on the ads, just because they are getting close to playing. Wasn't necessarily expecting this epic game, so sorry for the FPS drop. Disruptor shots continue in, and a couple of Spores getting knocked down. Dark also only on 5 bases compared to like herO 6. Everything, in my eyes, is stacked against Dark here in terms of how this should go, but... again, I never really stopped believing in Dark, I guess, in these kind of situations. You've got to kind of be something of a believer. It just feels like herO has the dream army. Disruptors, carriers, storms galore. Obviously, this High Templar can also go hunting the Vipers and feedbacks to stop Dark from, you know, finding the one thing that he's going to have in his favor. That's the issue. If herO just sits here and trades, what do you do as Doc? Well, I mean, you get a little bit interesting across the map. I love that. Knocking down a pylon, a few probes. Cybercore's a good target. Gets rid of some armor upgrade off the carriers. We recall a few carriers back. And these Hydras are going to turn around. They're probably going to be forfeit. I think it gives Doc a bit of a chance to move out, though. herO's bringing the rest of his army home, too. So Doc gets the opportunity to move forward. And he is starting to build up a few Corruptors. So getting that better army out against the carriers, that's the one thing Doc's done. Slowly improved his army throughout the course of the game. Hydra's getting underneath the carrier there, just getting some shots off. Storm's coming down, so Corruptors have to back away. A few more Interceptors going down, and the Storm or two coming in. Hydra's still taking damage. 10 more Corruptors coming out, and boom, boom, bang on the Hydras as they take a bunch of Tempest shots all at once. Hydras re-engage forward. The Storms again beautifully placed onto those Hydralisks. A few more of these Tempests continuing to just work their way through that. Nexus in the bottom left-hand corners, we do get a couple Neurals off. This is where Dark will find some value once again and probably scare herO quite a bit too. Tempest carriers, Archon's Templar. All of that continues to build up here. The Mothership in the top right, spawning, covering. Gonna try and come and support this army. Obviously, herO just taking bases that Dark does not want to have him, allow him to have. herO's taking both corner bases. Dark cannot get the center base up. He will catch a few Tempests with the Corruptors, though. I mean, money is an issue for Dark. 2k, 3k in the bank does not go a long way at this stage. And especially when you're running out of places to mine from, that is the biggest problem of all. That Dark is absolutely on a time. He is going to be forced to make moves soon. And yes, denying this base and just taking steps forward, moves like this are absolutely necessary as Storms drop down, the Interceptors continue to fly. We got another Neural. herO currently still has this base, so able to keep that alive throughout this. Obviously a pretty big benefit as well, as we do have a couple of Oracles taking their turn. Moving away just a little bit here as we do have Void Rays coming forward. A couple of these Spore Crawlers going to be in trouble too. Interceptors continue to fly on in. Corruptors turning around, getting some shots off themselves, and again across the board some pretty reasonable damage actually being done. There's a couple of lurkers are going to unburrow and relocate themselves. Going to set up to start nipping their way through this Nexus, so damage being dealt, Nexus being brought down. But like I say, you've got to take down that base. You've got to establish it for yourself here as Dark too. I think that's the one thing we don't have still, because the Mothership on the right side is going to lead a charge of Protoss down into this side of the map instead. So a little bit of a different approach here this time around. As you see these couple of Spores getting nibbled at, the Corruptors that's spawning really just not doing enough. Kind of coming through here, just our army continue to push forward. Disruptors, forcing our lurkers back. Disruptors down the bottom. In the bottom left, herO does have the push still going. Well, I say push, still has the remnants of this kind of base that he had. So still kind of like, just hanging around on that. Slowly those cannons get taken down. Obviously using this time for the rest of his army to maneuver and decide where it wants to go. Storms all over the Corruptors. Some big damage being dealt there. It's a couple hundreds nibbling away at a cannon. The army of herO still working down to the bottom left-hand corner, so into the bottom left we go. Corruptor's going to grab one of those carriers already. A few drones still going down. Templar setting up as well to potentially drop some Stormy boys in. Looks down a lurker as you continue through. The rest of our Disruptors still underneath the High Templar, with the rest of this army moving back into the center here. Just begins pressure on in, just going to knock down another Spore. Disruptor shots fire straight in. Just going to go bang bang on some very clumped up Spore Crawlers. They were just unburrowed and trying to die. It felt like they were immediately kind of caught in a weird position. Knock down a set of Changelings in this upper right hand corner too. The Oracles back down the bottom left, and the Corruptors are coming forwards, looking to go towards the carriers. The Tempests Looking to make a play out. Ultra's coming over as well, and just looking to try and jump onto this. Disruptor shots flying through. You can see how Ultra's jumping straight onto and killing off a couple of these disruptors. Nice neural parasites. I mean, Dark is on this last leg of units. herO has money to rebuild with. Dark desperately needs a base. Right side coming online. He's retaking this left side now as well, probably. He needs these bases to stay alive. He has to play off of these. He needs the money they provide. Otherwise, he just isn't going to be going anywhere. He's not going to be able to do anything. He can't rebuild off of this army. And that's obviously extremely expensive. Corruptor Ultra Force continues around. Lurkers get burrowed again. Revelation onto the Lurkers, just to keep an eye on things. Batteries. Trying to heal up the cannon. We see the Ultras continuing through. Sorry, excuse me. I've had a coughing fit before, now I've got a sneezing fit, apparently. Oh my goodness. This army of Dark, fortunately a few of the Lurkers left behind, they're going to go down again. Dark doesn't have rebuilding money. This Ultra Corruptor mass has to go and make something work. I mean, he has just gotten the right side base. He is just now working his way to the left side base. Like, he is doing the right kind of things. As Ultra still coming up, Dark Shrine on the way now as well. He knocked down a few changelings. Forward, another Oracle in some trouble. Ultra's going to come in from multiple sides. I tell you what, the High Templars are getting caught by those Ultras. We dropped some feedbacks at the end, but not a single one of those became an Archon. What a fight from Dark! Well, you know what? This is going to be very interesting here, because herO's rebuild is not going to be air-focused. It's going to be ground-focused. Dark has no way to utilize these Corruptors. Like, he basically, the only thing he can do with these Corruptors is run around and caustic spray stuff down. And herO's rebuild, like I say, going to be those Stalkers. Well, they have to run away to the Cypher now. I mean, how do you bust down these cannons? I guess maybe that's what the Corruptors can do. I'm not sure. Knock down one Ultra. Obviously, the Stalker rebuild able to come in quickly. Ultra's on the way too, recognizing the threat of the Ultras. We need, honestly, some Archons would be nice to deal with the Lings that on the way through. The Lings are going to have to surround on these Stalkers to stop them from getting away until the Blink is ready. We're on the right side with Stalkers as well, though. As Dark, again, money is the problem. He does not currently have the gas to build much of anything. An Infestor coming up, a few Hydras, a few Lings, recognizing this game is going back down to these lower tech units. Again, if he had the bank built into Broodlords right now, it would be incredible with those 13 Corruptors. You just can't do that. You can't afford to do that, so it's just not an option. We are going to knock down this forward base as Dark looks to take this out, opens up this pathway through. The Stalker's in the middle of the map. Going to get chased back as well. Lings continue to chase through too here. But the Lings turning around, just going to turn onto those Stalkers. Continue to deal good damage. Corruptors flying in overhead. Archons and Stalkers. Yeah, it's just going to be enough to keep working through that. herO is going to get the game. He's going to get the victory. GG's. He's going to win this 2-1. But my goodness, what an effort this